And then dyeing your hair with coffee.
Which you have done.
I have done. And there's also alternative methods to dye your hair besides coffee, but this is the one I can...
Beet juice.
Beet juice, yeah. This is one I can speak about. And so basically, I use the coffee grounds, and I use the coffee itself, and I put the...
And you specifically brewed this coffee for the hot hair dye application.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't put the hot coffee on my head.
No, but you had to brew it, and you had to and let it cool, and then you use that as the dye mechanism tool.
Basically, you brew very, very strong coffee, so you don't water down too much, and then you take the coffee grounds and you mix them in with the leave-in conditioner, and then you put this coffee. Then you apply the liquid part of the coffee, and then you put your hair in a plastic bag, and you let it sit and soak, and then your hair. If your hair is porous, my hair is very porous, so it did absorb a lot of that brown color. It was a temporary dye. It did eventually wash out. But
don't go into this expecting like the stuff you buy at the store where it's instantly shades different. Boom, totally from light to almost black.
Right. No.
Very subtle.
It is very subtle. I had some blonde highlights. This darkened them a bit. It wasn't life-changing or altering, but it was cool. It was cool to try it. And also leaving that leave-in conditioner in my hair while it was dyeing in the process really softened it. Okay. So that's another thing, is that it really was almost like a hair treatment.
All right.
Now, if you have maybe thinner hair, not so porous hair.
Would something like that work for people who are graying, or is it more somebody that's already got a good density of pigmentation already in their hair that's similar to the color of the coffee?
I mean, I think that because the gray hair is more coarse, it's probably more porous, and
it
probably would absorb. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It was fun. I thought it was cool. It's a whole process. You definitely have to keep in mind that you are rinsing the coffee essentially.
When you're doing this, don't expect to go to work at 7:00 that night. Take the whole evening to do such a project.
Yeah, you want to give yourself some time, especially because the longer you leave it on, the more it's supposed to absorb. Just like a lot of temporary hair dye, you longer leave it on, the more it's supposed to absorb.